Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you guys here today. We are going to be talking about a topic that has been requested for a while from my community. We kind of talk about it here and there, but I'm excited to have one place we can really dive in deep to how I prioritize my nourishment while being a business owner. Because sometimes it feels like you can do one or the other, or like there's only one way to be successful, and it's to be working all day, 12 hours a day or more, not sleeping very well, being so stressed, not being hungry, not eating breakfast, like running from one thing to the next. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. I do have days that are like that for sure, but hopefully these tips will help you to really bring into balance your life as a creative feminine leader. Okay, we're gonna dive right in. So this is a very controversial topic, but I have a zero morning routine. I think that is something that is really important to share with you because I get asked that question a lot, women thinking that I have this like very elaborate morning routine. And I feel like we're living in this really weird paradigm, weird time where people think that the more elaborate your morning routine, the more successful you are. And so I think that's why I like sharing that detail so much, is that you can be very successful and not have a morning routine at all. And I mean, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I curl my hair, I get ready for the day most days. I'm not a wild animal. But what I mean by I don't have a morning routine is I don't have this like elaborate 8-step routine like a lot of people tell you to do, that you read about in a lot of self-help books currently, of waking up and meditating and having a movement practice and like having it be this strict thing every single day. For me, I really like to wake up and see how I'm feeling and what I'm needing. Sometimes that means taking a bath at 7 a.m. Sometimes that means, making banana bread or making a big breakfast and having time to myself and time in devotion. Sometimes that means waking up early and hitting the ground running with work. So it really just depends what I'm needing on that specific day. But I really feel like starting the day off with that question of what would be supportive for you? What would be supportive for you right now? Instead of waking up and having a checklist immediately, really does help with your cortisol, really does help with your stress response and making you feel regulated and supported throughout the day. So I know I said that I'm not a morning routine person. However, I am an evening routine person. The evenings are definitely my time to really wind down. And I think it's actually really important. I would argue that having an evening routine is more conducive to your femininity and your feminine body than having a morning routine. And here's why. Oftentimes during the day, we are on our laptops, we're on our phones, we have blue light in our face all day. So we really want to make sure that we take the time in the evening to transition our body and our nervous system into rest and digest mode. So in the evening, for me, my evening routine, step one is really dimming all the lights, lighting candles, using red lights where I can. So I actually have specific lamps in my home that have red lights in them, red light bulbs. And the reasoning here is because it simulates melatonin production, because back not even that long ago in human history, when the sun would go down, that you'd see this like warm amber sunset, then the sun would go down, and then if there was any light at all, it would be from a fire, right? It would have this warm amber reddish color that activates melatonin production within your body and allows for you to get ready for bed. Melatonin starts to be produced, your body is signaled, okay, it's time to go to bed, it's time to like start winding down. So I really like to create this in my own home by using red lights in different rooms. So I have different lamps within my living room as well as in my bedroom that have red light bulbs in them. So I'll turn those on, light some candles, dim some lights. There's only a couple lights in my apartment that can be dimmed. But this is really step one for me. And I really do this as soon as the sun goes down. So here recently, it's literally been like 4 p.m. But really you can take this to wherever you are living. And then after that time as well, I try and be really aware of any blue light that I am exposing myself to. So if I want to watch a show, if I want to look on my phone, anything like that, I try and use blue light blocking glasses that are like red tinted, or just have a red light on in the room because that can again really juxtapose the blue light. There are also some really helpful apps that I want to introduce you guys to. So the first thing is it's called Flux or Flux. I'm not actually sure how to say it, but it's F.lux, and you can download it on your laptop for free. And you can actually like input where you are at in the world, and it will dim the lighting accordingly throughout the day. So right now it is 4:30 p.m. here where I am. So if I open my laptop, which has Flux, Starbucks downloaded. If I open my laptop, the lighting on my laptop would be kind of like amber, a little bit more dim than say it would in the morning. And if I open my laptop at like 8 p.m., it would be actually pretty red. It would have like very much red light to it. So that's a really good recommendation for the laptop. Blue light blocking glasses, if you're looking at like a TV, something like that. And then for your iPhone, you can actually Google this, or maybe I'll try and find the link and put it in the show notes. But you can find a way to change your phone screen to blue light, from blue light to red light in the evening. And it's just like a shortcut link. Okay, so switching lighting, that is my first step to my evening routine that I do almost every single night. If I have had an especially stressful day, I also really love some sort of like water therapy. So taking a warm shower, taking a warm bath can be really, really calming for me and my specific body, but I feel like it's like that for everyone that I speak to as well. So if I have had more of a stressful day and I have enough time, I will go take a bath. That always really helps signal my body that it's time to wind down. Do a nice little oil body massage afterward, change into my pajamas, and oftentimes at this point, it's basically time to crawl into bed. So crawl into bed, I use a castor oil pack before I go to sleep. I get questions about castor oil packs a lot, so I definitely want to break this one down for you guys. I feel like the word packs is what's throwing all of us off because it sounds very official and overwhelming, but it's actually very, very simple. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go get castor oil. This is step one. You can get castor oil at basically any health food store. I just get mine here locally. A special thing to note is you wanna make sure that the castor oil that you purchase is in a glass bottle and not in a plastic bottle. The reason why is because castor oil is a leaching oil, so it actually will suck out from anything that it is in or on any toxins, which is why it's so incredible. But if it's in a plastic bottle, it's gonna be leaching that like plastic BS, which is you're gonna be putting on your body. We just don't wanna deal with that. So make sure that you get castor oil in a glass bottle. So you get your castor oil, bring it home. I always do my castor oil packs before bed because it makes me sleepy. It makes all my clients sleepy. It's very much a normal side effect. So you're gonna get your castor oil, just put it in your palm. I like to use like a quarter size amount. And then I like to put it on my whole lower abdomen, but really the biggest purpose of using castor oil is because it helps you detox your liver, which is really supportive for your hormones. So if you're using it for that specific purpose, you're gonna wanna put it on your liver, which is your like lower right side of your body. But like I said, I normally do my whole lower abdomen because castor oil is a detoxing oil. So it can actually be really, really helpful for your intestines, if you have any constipation, also healing the liver. Like it's just such a healing oil. So I just do the whole low abdomen personally. And then when I got my castor oil at the health food store, it literally right next to it had like this like cotton pad. It's like pretty big cotton pad that you put on top, but you could also use a towel. So let's just say you put castor oil, towel, cotton pad, whatever, on top of it, just so that there's no mess. That's literally the only purpose. And then on top of that, you do a heating pad, hot water bottle, something like that. And then I literally leave mine on for about 20 minutes. You just let it soak in. Again, it makes you nice and sleepy and calm. And that's when I normally read my novel. And there's a totally separate video on YouTube about this if you're interested in learning about why I have replaced my self-help books with novels before going to bed, really to increase creativity in my own mind and also get me out of this like stress state before I go to sleep by allowing me to really tap into pleasure and imagination and creativity before going to bed. So that is my evening routine. I honestly stick to that pretty much 100%. It's very simple, it's very calming for me. And again, it really signals to my body that the day is over. We are not thinking about work. We are gonna turn off, we are gonna rest. One of my other keys to making nourishment a priority as a business owner is time blocking. And this is something I've talked about on the podcast many, many times, but we are gonna be talking about it again. So I really like time blocking for my week the Sunday before the week starts. Again, this really just creates structure and nourishment and frame so that I feel so supported as the week is going on. Even if I have had a busy day, everything's right there in front of me. My time is blocked right in front of me. I have the next day blocked right in front of me. So when I'm in the middle of the week, I don't have to be panicking. I don't have to be thinking like, oh my gosh, do I have my ducks in a row? Do I have everything lined up for tomorrow? Because it's all lined up for me because I take care of myself before the time comes that it's like dire, right? So like I said, I do this Sunday evening, Sunday day in preparation for the coming week. That's really just what works for me. I also have clients that do their like non-negotiables. So if they have any business meetings, anything that's like literally on the calendar, they will do those starting the weekend before, so they'll map them out and then they'll add little things in a day at a time. For me, I really like to do it the week in advance. That's what just works best for me. So kind of order of operations here. If you're like, okay, what does this look like? The first thing I want to say is when I first started time blocking, I was so uptight about it. I was like, had everything right next to each other, like stacked on top of each other. And it was so unrealistic because your girl likes to sit in the car and just like breathe sometimes, you know, for like an hour. And I think that that's okay. I think it's totally normal to kind of lollygag, and you want to have spaciousness within your calendar to be a human being and not feel super overwhelmed, because at that point you'll just do too much. You'll feel like a failure and then you won't even try to do it again because it'll be such a traumatic and bad experience. So set yourself up for success, create bigger time intervals between the things that you have to do. For example, between client calls, I always try and leave 30 minutes between all client calls in case I want to grab a snack, in case I want to go on a little walk, in case I'm like, oh dang, I like didn't fully prepare this whole thing. So I have like a little bit of time to prepare whatever is missing from whatever I'm doing. Give yourself spaciousness. It's going to set yourself up for success. So time blocking is really helpful. Like I said, I do it the Sunday before. I write down first thing is like my non-negotiables. So things that I already committed to. This is like client calls, business meetings, meetings with my assistant, anything like that. And that like haircuts, nail appointments, those sorts of things as well, because those are already scheduled, they're already booked. And then I go in and I schedule my meals, just making sure that I make those a priority and don't forget, because if you are stressed, if you're having a high stress day, if you're having high cortisol within your body during this high stress day, you're probably not going to be hungry. So you probably can't really rely on you just intuitively knowing that it's time to eat. So setting yourself up for success means supporting yourself even on those days where you might be a little bit more stressed. So yes, we are scheduling important meetings. We're scheduling our meals. If you want to schedule like your showers, your workouts, amazing. Do it. I honestly do that. It makes it a lot easier for me because I don't want to wash my hair every single day. It's like a whole process. So I really like to schedule them with my workouts, date nights, hanging out with your girlfriends, evenings to yourself, all these things I want you to map on your calendar to really make sure that you're taking care of yourself with a huge intention, not being to fill the calendar, but instead to actually create space, to create spaciousness, because without spaciousness on the calendar, you are not gonna get your next creative idea as a woman. You literally need to be in stillness to receive. That is why so many women, like I talk about on my podcast, on my YouTube, on my Instagram, this is why so many women are like, oh yeah, I get my most amazing ideas in the shower. It has nothing to do with the shower. You just need to create more space in your day for these ideas to come through for you. So this is definitely one of my biggest purposes for doing time blocking. Time blocking's purpose is to have inner union within your calendar. It is not so that you can be in your masculine. It's actually so that you can hold a masculine frame for you to be in your feminine and feel safe while doing so. Along the same frame of time blocking, I want to introduce you to my list strategy, which works so well for me. I've taught this to so many clients as well. It's very, very simple, but I just feel like we're very much overcomplicating it and giving ourselves a headache in the process. I want you to create a master list on a piece of paper of all the things you have to do. Every single thing, okay? This could be business, this could be personal, like all the things. Write it down on a list. And then every single day, you're sitting there in front of your beautiful time-blocked calendar in the morning and you were like, ooh, I'm so glad I did this for myself on Sunday. That just felt so nourishing. And then I want you to pick 3 things from the master list that you're gonna do. So not 4 things, not 10 things, not 0 things, just 3. The reasoning here is because if you only choose 3 things, you're gonna likely do them very well. And then you're also gonna have this sense of accomplishment and peace with crossing 3 things off your list. There's 2 things that I see people do all the time. They look at the master list and they are just like, oh my gosh, FML, I'm not even gonna try because this list is so overwhelming that they don't even try to do any of them and they feel like a failure. Or they try and do way too many on the list, but they still don't accomplish the whole list because, hey, no one could. And they also feel like a failure. So we want to be able to allow for you to celebrate your accomplishments and also do things well. Feel good about them in your body. So this is why only 3 things per day. This is a non-negotiable for me. So on days that are naturally busier, on days that I naturally have a lot more client calls or something like that, I will still do my 3 things. They'll probably just be more simple things. Or if I have like the whole day off and I'm just like, okay, I wanna work through my list, I'm gonna do the 3 most complicated things. Okay, the next thing we're gonna talk about is meals and meal planning. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I am not like the meal planner. And I feel like that's really shocking to people as well. I don't sit down on the weekend and like make all these little like Tupperware meals meals. A lot of people do that. That does not work for me. Honestly, sounds so boring. And I just feel like if I did that, they would be sitting in my fridge expiring and I would be eating something else because the whole concept just does not resonate with me at all. So what do I do for meals? I really prioritize protein. This is something I talk about all the time with my clients. You really do need a lot of protein in order for your liver detoxification pathways to be open. You also really need protein to really ground you as a woman, as a feminine being in your body when you are more stressed. So for me, if I'm feeling anxious, if I'm feeling tired, most of the time I literally just need protein. So protein is my number one. I always have protein on hand. And let's talk about like different tiers of protein. So for snacks, I always have beef sticks on hand. Chomps is my absolute favorite brand. I am a ride or die for them. I always have Chomps beef sticks in my cupboard. So those go with me basically everywhere. And those are my like quick, absolute necessary if I am like feeling faint and I have nothing cooked in my fridge, that is what I will grab. That is also my favorite snack. So I'll have like a chomp stick with some fruit or vegetables for a little snack throughout the day. And as for meals, I really recommend having options in your freezer that are grab and go. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if you froze like a huge steak, it's going to take like a long time to thaw that out, right? That is not what I'm talking about in this example. I'm talking like fish fillets. I'm talking like pre-made meatballs that you made yourself that are in the freezer frozen, that you can pull out like 3 of them and they'll thaw in like 30 minutes, or beef patties that you have again cooked and then frozen and you can like pull out 1 at a time and they will thaw in like 30 minutes. So set yourself up protein wise. And honestly, that's gonna make the biggest difference because that's gonna get you really, really far. And then also obviously there's like fresh meats as well that you get. Those are a lot more straightforward and easy to chat about. Also frozen vegetables, that one's really helpful. I don't even know how to cut a butternut squash. It is so hard, but I always get frozen butternut squash, have them in my freezer, can just pull them out. So as you can tell just from me talking about this, it doesn't have to be overwhelming or unhealthy to have really easily accessible meals in your fridge and freezer all the time. So when you are thinking ahead for your busy week, that's really my favorite way to do it, is having things that you just know are like really, really easy for you. So it's not like you're sitting there planning your whole life out, planning what you're gonna be eating all the time. It's simply just a matter of setting yourself up with the tools that you need for nourishment. So I tried the whole meal delivery service thing. I actually got it from Sakara and I really did enjoy it. I think I would do it again if there was a period of time where I was gonna be really, really busy for like a couple weeks, a few weeks, maybe a month even, because it didn't really meet all my nutrition requirements. And by that, I mean Sakara is definitely the best food like membership service that I found as far as quality goes, but it's vegetarian. And if you know me, you know that I am definitely not a vegetarian. So I still just had a little bit of extra work in order for the meals to have enough protein for me and enough protein that I would recommend to my clients as well. So it was beautiful salads, beautiful grain bowls, things like that. There is protein in a lot of the meals as well with like beans and legumes. I just need meat. And I had to like make the meat separately. So like I said, I would totally order from them again if there was a period of time, maybe like 2 to 3 weeks where I knew I was gonna be really busy and it would really serve me to have more support. And then I would also supplement that with like frozen protein sources. So I feel like a lot of this meal planning and more so meal awareness comes down to knowing your calendar, knowing your schedule, and also knowing yourself. Because for me, if I'm having a really busy client call week, so for me, really busy, I feel like that's like 4 calls a day. I know that I'm not gonna want to go to the grocery store in between the calls, even if I have time. So really I have to set myself up either, you know, the weekend before, making sure that I have the groceries that I need, or do a meal delivery service like Sakara. So here's a few different options, a few different things for you to play with. I just really recommend being prepared, having things on hand. I think that's gonna be really your best friend. You don't really wanna have one of those moments where you were just like spiraling and have tunnel vision because your blood pressure is so low and you're stressed out, and I have been there a million times. This is why I know about it. Supplements is something I wrote down as well and something I wanted to mention to you guys. So supplements literally help me so much. I do not take that many supplements. There's a few that are like my absolute ride or die, I never run out of, because they really support me and my specific constitution and my specific body through stress. One of them is really just simply nettle tea. Nettle tea is incredible. There's so many vitamins and minerals in there that actually replenish your body from stress that it is being under. There's so many vitamins and minerals that are key to really replenishing your body when it's undergoing longer periods of stress within your life, so that the stress doesn't take you down and pull you into depletion and pull from your nutrient stores. because stress itself depletes us of so many vitamins, so many minerals, and we really need to be on top of the awareness of when we are stressed, that we're giving ourselves the support that we need through our meals and through our food and through our supplementation. And last but not least on my list today is hydration. So you just want to make sure that you are very hydrated. I feel like this is like an obvious thing, and you're probably listening to this being like, yeah, I know we need to be hydrated. But here's what I do to set myself up for success with hydration. I always make a tea infusion that's in my fridge, so it's ready to go. My tea infusion right now is nettle, raspberry leaf, and rose tea. However, when I work with my one-to-one clients, this is something that I curate based upon what their body is needing, what they're going through emotionally and physically. So this is just what I am using right now as my tea infusion. The reason why I love tea infusions, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is because we really don't get that many minerals from our water anymore. And we really don't get that many minerals from our food anymore because our soil has been very stripped. So it's really important to get minerals where we can. A really great location to get your minerals is from tea infusion. So I know that there's already going to be someone who's like, okay, what is a tea infusion? And I will create a video of me making my tea infusion another day on a vlog. But for right now, to describe what I do, I put probably like a heaping tablespoon of each of those herbs that I mentioned. So right now I'm doing nettle, raspberry leaf, and rose, and I put them in like a big mason jar. It's like, I guess it's bigger than the frame, this big. So big heaping tablespoon of each, and then I pour to the top with boiling hot water, and then I leave it on the counter until it's room temperature, put a lid on, put it in the fridge. And it'll last, I think, like 3 to 4 days. Normally it's gone in 3 days. So I'll sip on that throughout the day. And then when I wake up in the morning, I normally will make like a matcha, whatever beverage I'm having that morning. And then when I make my matcha, I'll also make my big Stanley cup, which is like, I think it's 40 ounces of filtered water. I have a water purifier attached to my sink that takes out anything bad that's in my water system. And then I always add electrolytes because I love electrolytes. I feel like they really help me to feel more grounded in my body throughout the day, and also really does give you a lot of those minerals, right? There's sodium, potassium, magnesium in the electrolytes that I use. So that's kind of my beverage lineup for the day. But the most important thing here, again, is setting yourself up for success. So making, you know, my 40 ounces of water and putting it on my desk instead of just like sitting down and hoping that I remember to drink water, because I literally will not unless it's in front of me. So set yourself up in all ways. Make sure your fridge is stocked. Make sure you have your hydration station set up in front of you at your desk. Make sure that you have things pre-made, that you have your supplements in your little supplement case. Set yourself up so that at the end of the day, you are just like, that feels so good. Like I got everything done that I needed to. I crossed my 3 things off my list. I've accomplished so much, and you're actually able to go to sleep instead of sitting there in bed ruminating over all the things maybe you didn't do correctly, you didn't do well enough, or you're like, I didn't get all my lists done. It's all about having reasonable expectations, listening to your body, and setting yourself up for success with support instead of shame and blame and speaking to yourself negatively. So I hope that this video served you so much and gives you a really great nourishing framework to step into this coming week so that you can feel rejuvenated, restored, and in your full creative potential as a feminine leader. I'll see you guys next week.